Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the last installment of What's the Haps with Mr. Keelan. This time we're moving outside the Bill of Rights and we're going to look at the other subsequent amendments to the Constitution. More specifically, we're going to focus on the amendments that reflect on suffrage and voting rights and also on equality. We'll be touching especially with the Civil War amendments 13 through 15 that dealt with ending slavery. And then lastly, we'll start looking at some of the other significant amendments. So, what are our objectives for this? First, I want you to be able to define what suffrage is and explain why suffrage is considered to be a natural right, the right to have a voice in your government. Why is voting something that all of us should have? Next, I would like you to be able to explain how the 13th and the 13th through 15th Amendment, address the many injustices posed by the system of slavery and try to undo some of the damage by having an institution of racially defined inequality and property holding of human beings for the beginning years of our country's history. Within those, I also want you to reflect how the 14th Amendment was used by many groups in the struggle for equality past the past the Civil War into the Civil Rights Movement. The argument that we should all be equally represented within every law. Similarly, I want you to look in the Civil Rights Movement. What were some of the obstacles that remained in place for suffrage even after the passage of citizenship and voting rights for former slaves in the 15th Amendment? I'd also like you to look at the importance of the 19th Amendment to have a fully democratic society in which before that time, for 144 years, 50% of our population was disenfranchised or shut out from the vote. And last but not least, I'd like you to analyze the reasons why the voting rights or suffrage were expanded to all citizens aged 18 and over with the 26th Amendment. That's a lot of objectives. Don't worry, I'll go through it quickly. First, the 13th through 15th Amendment. As the picture shows with the broken chains, all deal with the end of slavery after the Civil War. These are collectively known as the Civil War Amendments. The 13th Amendment is one that officially abolished slavery and forced labor. Even if you are in jail, you have to be compensated for your work. You cannot be forced to work in any extent legally within the United States. The 14th Amendment states that all citizens are entitled to equal protection under the law. We're going to see that the 14th Amendment will be used in the Civil Rights Movement to try to deal with many of the injustices. The 14th Amendment in court rulings, for example, was used to bring about an end to school segregation with the Brown versus Board of Education decision. And then to the legal ban on interracial marriage with the Loving v. Virginia case. It's been used to give protection to people with disabilities, that they can have equal access into government-run buildings, and protection within schools and other government-run facilities. So the 14th Amendment, we're going to see, has a broad-reaching impact beyond just after slavery was ended. The 15th Amendment expanded suffrage or voting rights to any citizen, suffrage rights could not be banned from a citizen on the basis of their race, religion, any previous condition of servitude, meaning that if they were used to be a slave, they can't be denied the right to vote. This meant that all former slaves, that anyone of any race at that time who was male, could run for office, could hold office, can vote in any election. Sorry, ladies, we still were backward and hadn't reached the point where we expanded suffrage to women. That'll come in 1920 with the 19th Amendment. But also, unfortunately, even though the 15th Amendment said that suffrage could not be denied to anybody on the basis of their race, we'll see that many states still used intimidation, poll taxes, intelligence testing, many moves to try to block African Americans and people from other races from enjoying their full suffrage or voting rights. The 19th Amendment, as you can see with the picture there, is when finally, after 144 years of our history, after the Declaration of Independence, women finally got equal citizenship and were able to vote in elections, were able to run for and hold elected office. Now, before the passage of the 19th Amendment, many states had already passed laws giving women the right to vote, but that was at the state level and local level. In the federal level, it finally was brought about in change with the 19th Amendment. And thanks in many ways to the women who fought for equal voting rights for over 100 years, including Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, among others who were suffragists, women who were fighting for their equal voice in our democracy. So, with that being said, let's talk about our first essential question. Suffrage, or the right to vote, has been restricted from many groups of people throughout U.S. history, either on the basis of their race, their economic status, their gender, their religion, ethnicity. So, why do you think people worked and tried to block these different groups of people from having a vote? And what does the power to vote mean for those who have it? I want you to reflect on that. Why would people try to stop others from voting? And what does that power to vote give? What powers does it give to the people who have it?